The sky was once immersed in a profound silence. This silence was not emptiness. This silence was order. The stars remained fixed in their places. Celestial bodies never strayed from the paths drawn for them. The sun rose exactly when it was meant to rise. The moon withdrew at its appointed time. Even the wind knew its boundaries. Divine beings stationed in the higher realms fulfilled their duties without question. For in the heavens, questioning was the first step toward disorder. In that age, while humanity had not yet learned its own name upon the soil, there were beings in the sky watching it. They were called the Watchers. They were not created to rule, nor to guide humankind. Their duty was only to observe, to watch the earth, to record what transpired, and to remain faithful to the divine order. When the Watchers first beheld humanity, they observed it like a spark, brief, trembling, and fleeting. Humans dug into the ground, struck stone against fire, and feared the darkness when night fell. They fought hunger, disease, and beasts. But what truly unsettled the Watchers was something else entirely. Humans suffered, yet they did not surrender. Humans lost, yet they still hoped. Humans knew they would die, yet they loved anyway. There was nothing like this in heaven. In heaven, there was no lack, but in heaven, there was no meaning. As the Watchers continued to observe, observation was no longer enough. Prolonged watching turned into curiosity, and curiosity awakened a feeling angels were never meant to possess. Why did God create these beings so fragile? Why grant such deep emotion to creatures who live so briefly? Is this weakness a flaw or a deliberate secret? In that moment, the boundary between heaven and earth blurred for the first time, and the Watchers no longer merely observed humanity. They began to desire it. This desire was not a simple impulse. It was the first act of rebellion against the divine order. Among the Watchers, there were those who hesitated. They understood what it meant to abandon the heavens. For in heaven, order was unquestionable. Law was existence itself. Obedience required no thought. But one of them spoke. Semjaza. He was not stronger than the others. What set him apart was resolve. Semjaza did not turn curiosity into fear. He turned curiosity into decision. We were appointed to watch, he said. But watching is not enough. We have seen pain. We have seen joy. We have seen desire. If we only record, we will one day return to emptiness. Some stepped back. Some fell silent. For within his words was something stronger than obedience, the hunger for meaning. Semjaza also knew their greatest fear, punishment. If you commit this sin alone, he said, you will bear the punishment alone. But if we fall together, none of us can return. And if the guilt is shared, the burden will be shared as well. This was not persuasion. This was the closing of a door, and 200 Watchers passed through it. They gathered at the summit of Mount Hermon. It was night. The wind was fierce. The stars seemed to bear witness. There they swore an oath. This oath was not merely to descend to earth. It was a vow against the order established by God. From that moment on, the heavens were closed to them, and the Watchers descended to the earth. Their descent was not a triumph, nor was it merely a fall. It was a forbidden step. Humans did not see them at first. They felt them. The air grew heavy. The color of fire shifted. Animals grew restless. The human heart sensed a pressure it could not explain. The Watchers approached human settlements. They observed those sitting by the fire, children crying from hunger, mothers trying to soothe them, men lowering their gaze before challenges they could not overcome. Such scenes did not exist in heaven, and for the first time, the Watchers experienced human life from within. In time, humans began to notice them. Some knelt, some fled, some approached. For humanity has always been drawn to power. Worship began. The Watchers did not stop it. For the first time, they felt significant, and that sense of significance pulled them further from the heavens. They took human women. From these unions were born children that the earth could not sustain. The Nephilim, giants. They were not merely large. They were without measure. Their strength was without measure. Their hunger was without measure. Their rage was without measure. At first, humans revered them. They believed them to be children of the heavens. But fear soon followed. The Nephilim were not satisfied with what the land provided. They devoured animals. When the animals were gone, they turned to humans. The earth filled with blood. Cries rose toward the sky. The Watchers brought down not only their bodies, but their knowledge. They taught humanity the sword, the spear, armor. They taught how to bend metal with fire, how to read fate from the stars, how to speak hidden names, how to perform forbidden rituals. Humanity felt closer to the gods than ever before. But knowledge did not elevate mankind. Knowledge corrupted it. Power erased justice. Humans no longer fought only to survive, but to rule. This chaos shook the divine order. The cries of humanity reached the heavens, and God looked upon the earth. This time not to observe, but to judge. The archangels were sent. Raphael bound Azazel in chains. Michael bound Semjaza and the Watchers. Gabriel turned the Nephilim against one another. Uriel revealed the path of the flood. The waters rose. The flood was not merely water. The flood was erasure. Yet divine judgment did not end there. God called a man, Enoch. Enoch saw the Watchers bound in chains. He heard their pleas, but no answer came. For some sins cannot be forgiven. The Watchers were bound forever. The Nephilim were destroyed, and the earth was cleansed. But the story was not forgotten. What Enoch witnessed was written down, and the Book of Enoch was forbidden, because it reminded humanity of an unsettling truth. Divine beings can fall. Knowledge can become a curse, and God does not always speak. Now only one question remains. Were these accounts merely a myth, or a truth deliberately buried? For the sky is still silent, but perhaps those who watch us are still there.